गुड इवनिंग एंड अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम टू द ब्लैक होल। आज की गुफ्तगू का उन्वान आप मेरी पुश्त पे बोर्ड पे लिखा हुआ देख सकते हैं, डिजिटल डिस्ट्रैक्शन, द सिस्टमिक हार्म ऑफ सोशल मीडिया। सो टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस द unseen risks lurking behind our screens and discover how consuming social media is affecting our mental health, relationships, and society at large. Moreover, we will learn what we can do to mitigate its harmful effects. और इस मौजू पर गुफ्तगू के लिए हमारे साथ अल्तमुश खान आतिश हैं, जो मेरे दाएं जानिब तशरीफ़ फरमा हैं. He is a seasoned game designer with extensive experience, having served as the former lead game designer at the GameStorm Studios and Appsologics. Throughout his career, he has worked on over 100 apps for Android, iOS, and PC. In addition to his expertise in game design, Altamash Khan is a passionate philosophy enthusiast with a particular interest in ancient philosophies, ख़ास तौर पे stoicism. लेकिन आज की गुफ्तगू से और आज की गुफ्तगू के उन्वान से आप अंदाज़ा लगाएंगे कि महज दौर कदीम की फ़िलासफ़ीज़ या उन नज़रियात पर ही आपकी दस्तरस नहीं है, बल्कि आप असर हाज़र के मसाइल उसके ऊपर भी नज़र रखते हैं और एक उसके हार्मफुल इफ़ेक्ट्स और उनके हल की तरफ भी अपनी एक राय रखते हैं. आप सब लोगों की आमद का शुक्रिया, ख़ास तौर पे इसलिए भी कि एक आध दिन रह गया ईद में, तो आप लोगों का इतने गर्म मौसम में तशरीफ़ लाना, it means a lot. Please do us a favor and turn your cell phones to silent mode so that there is no distraction. Moreover, since this is going to be an interactive session, आप लोग ज़रूर इसमें शरीक होइएगा. Just raise your hand ताकि आपको जो माइक्रोफोन दे दिया जाए और आपकी आवाज़ जो है वो ऑनलाइन ऑडियंस तक भी वाज़े तौर पे पहुंच सके. बस यही थी दो तीन बातें. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Altamash Khan Atish. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for introducing me. Okay, so before we talk about social media, let's first speak about the internet. But before that, I'd like to know, how many of you have a social media account? Raise your hands. Okay, so there's nobody offline. How many of you use social media for business? Raise your hands. Okay. And how much will your life be affected if I tell you stop using social media today?
How do you respond to it?
Yeah. How many of you, raise your hands, how many will be affected if social media was to die today? How many of you will be affected? OMG. Right. So before we go and take a look at social media and how it absolutely can destroy your life, let's take a look at the age of the internet, the scary, scary age of the internet. Keyword here is net. What does that mean? The age of the internet, it helps information travel faster from point A to point B. From point A to point B. From point B to point C. From point A to XYZ. The problem is that most of you do not know this. But if information travels from point A to point B, what if I told you it can also go from point B to point A? Most people that use social media don't know this. They do not know that every time they use social media, a small amount of their information is being collected. And that is being used by the companies, by the social media companies, for a particular purpose. What their purpose is not defined. But what we can say is that every time you use social media, you are giving away some amount of information which can positively affect you or negatively affect you. How many of you, raise your hands, are trained to use the internet? Trained to.
So self-training counts? Self-training.
No, raise your hands. How many of you are trained to use the internet? How many of you are trained to use social media? All right, just one. So tell me, if you're not trained to use something, what happens? If you don't receive training for it, what happens? You do not know how that thing works. what its purpose is, and what it was designed for. The age of the internet, it helped information reach faster, but it also helped information reach a wider audience, more people. Information reaches faster, it reaches more people. And people have the option to choose the type of information that they wish to receive. When you go on Google, you type exactly what you want, and you get that information. But what does Google do? Now it knows what you searched for. Now it knows what your interests are. It knows you sometimes more than you know yourself. Imagine that. Imagine people around you, they know exactly what makes you tick, what can make you stop, what can make you go. Now imagine a group of companies all around the world who will use that information to sell you an item, use manipulation, use all the tactics just to sell you a product. Since information is gathered about you, I can tell you one thing for sure. If I, right now, ask any of you, give me your mobile phone, I want to search what's on it. How many of you will allow it? Raise your hands. Just two? So, most people, when they say, we do not care, well, I just proved that you do. Most people say that they do not care about their privacy. You do. And most people do not know when they download any social media application, it has full access to your gallery. What they do with that information, what they do with your gallery is not really in your hands. So basically, you have refused to give that phone to me to search through it, but you have allowed this company, and God knows how many psychopaths they are, they can use your data. So, social media. In order to socialize, what do you have to do? You first have to be at a location. Can you socialize without being at a location? Is it possible? It isn't, right? So the internet, net, point A, point B, point C. And on the internet, you've got locations. A social media is a location on the internet, let's suppose. And most of us are not taught general self-defense in all forms of life. We are not told how we are supposed to do that. We are not told how you're supposed to, and schools do not teach us how to interact with people, how you're supposed to conduct a conversation. Schools don't even teach us how we're supposed to buy groceries, although that is something that we should learn. And how you can be harmed while buying groceries. Most of us, when we buy vegetables, we're going to check each and every vegetable that the person is putting in. But when we are buying groceries, when the last process where the person picks up the package and puts it in the shopping bag, we don't check the packaging. What if it breaks at that time? These small minor things people do not really notice. And basically what I'm saying is that you can be harmed at any time, at any point in life, and people are not really trained to keep their guard up all the time. And on the internet, when your guard is down, that's what these big corporations are looking for. They want to take your information and use it against you when you least expect it, and they are smarter than you. These are companies that are owned by billionaires, owned by corporations who are working day and night trying to sell just one product. And sometimes that product is not even a digital product. Sometimes it's not even physical. Sometimes the product is as simple as motivation. Sometimes that product is as simple as selling an idea. And using that idea, they can cause you to do things, sometimes the things that you don't even know why you're doing. So the purpose of social media, essentially what they said it years ago, was to make socialization easy. Now, most of you, well, not most of you, but I hope that some of you have played a video game in your life. There's always an easy mode. The easy mode, social media is basically the easy mode of socialization. And it was designed for people that suffered from severe social anxiety or found it difficult to socialize in a general setting. That was the original purpose. It was to connect people and for interaction between people. But the problem is, most social media companies will not tell you that during that interaction, they collect information about you, and then they can sell it or they can process it themselves. Now, what do I mean by processing? Remember that at one time, if you needed to get information about somebody, you needed to train a person to specifically try to get information from you using different techniques. Now you give that information yourself. You tell the social media companies exactly what you want, what your interests are, and guess what? That information can be used to process various things, and during that process, we have got very powerful computers that can run algorithms which will tell them exactly at what time, at what place you will be vulnerable, where you will basically be desperate to purchase something to make life less miserable. But I just said miserable. What does that mean? In order to sell a product, you first have to create demand for it. Sometimes there is already a demand for it, but most of the time demand is created. In fact, most of the time, as a game designer, the clients that contact me are not even interested in making a high quality game. They're interested in how the player interacts with the game and at what time we can place an advertisement or a digital product to sell it. And I can tell you from my personal experience that analytics help us tell exactly at what point this player is most vulnerable to purchase something. And in games, we create problems and sell the solutions. Essentially, people are buying the game from us, and we are creating more problems for them and then selling it. And investors and clients are only interested in that. I can tell that from experience. So what stops social media companies from doing that? So, social media also makes it easy to access and easy to deny access. In a social setting, you can't just put a block button. You can't just push a block button and the other person disappears. I mean, if that was the case, life would be easy, right? You'd only interact with the people that you wish to interact with. There's no block button in real life. So in social media, they created the block button, which means you only give access to people that you want to give access to. But the problem is it also creates this false illusion that that's how real life works, whereas it doesn't. And what happens when you find an easy mode? You always want to play that easy mode. You want to give your life away to that easy mode. And once you are too used to easy mode, guess what happens when you have to play the hard mode? So, social media was a collective term for websites and applications. People can communicate, people can give community-based input, they can interact, they can content share, and they can collaborate. What does all of these things do? What does all of these social interactions do? Tell the companies exactly how you behave in different settings. In different settings, they know how you will behave. And if I know how you will behave, I can make you do things that you don't want, things that you don't want to do. And I can make your life miserable and then sell you the solution. I can make your life easy and present a challenge to you. I can do all of these things. The problem with social media is also that it makes access too easy. Sometimes connecting with people that are supposed to or paid to interact with you, get information from you using the traditional methods which people used before social media, which was to gain access to information, secret information, or things that you probably want to keep to yourself. But we can identify them. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something that I would like to talk about, which is before social media, we have to take a look at the current society, and that is achievement society. We are living in an achievement society. Before that, we were living in a disciplinary society where there were rules and regulations. You see, currencies is not just money. A currency in social media is likes, shares, comments. And the products can be motivation, empathy, sympathy, love, all of these things. Social media treats them as a currency, things that can be sold. In a disciplinary society, external control was a thing that was causing you to do things. And it was not a can mentality over there. It was a should mentality during those times. You should do this, you should do this, you should do that. In an achievement society, it is you can do this and you can do that. And do you know what is the problem with can do? You can do an unlimited number of things. There is no limit. And sometimes you're given the illusion that you can do things when you go on social media, and there are these people that are training day and night to tell you that you can do this, you can do that. And yet, they know it themselves that they're not really saying that you can do this. They're like, you should do this so we can help you and, make money from you. When you say you can do this, you're like, that's what you believe. But what if I tell you you can do this? There's a difference. If I say I can do this, so can you. Does that make sense? How can I say that when I don't know what you are, what your personality type is? These are all manipulation tactics, and in a disciplinary society, the advantage of that was that external things were controlling your life. Now you mostly have control over your life, but people that are overlords or corporate overlords, they still want to keep us in check. And there is definitely proof for that. You can see that elections are sometimes fought on social media, literally. The result of elections before even the elections take place, because social media can help us drive a narrative. There are many things that social media can do, but one of the main things that social media does, it can sell an idea. It can sell a perspective better than anything else. And you can identify the people that agree with that idea. That is the most important thing. Before that idea is implemented, you can actually check whether it's going to fail or not. So guess what happens? Businessmen and business people, they don't really care whether the idea is good for you. They just want to sell an idea. And using social media, they can tell exactly how much this idea will sell and how much money they will make. And if that idea is useful for you but it's not selling, they'll drop it. They will absolutely drop that idea. And they'll come up with another idea, one that suits them, probably doesn't suit you. So I already spoke about the social media currencies. Now, why do I say likes, comments, and shares are social media currencies? Simply because they're quantifiable. They're quantifiable. And you get the false illusion of making progress. A false illusion of making progress. What is a false illusion? What is this? You see, illusions are basically false. They're illusions. But materialism is promoted a lot on social media. How is that so? Materialism, if you do not know, if you haven't studied philosophy, materialism is the philosophy where you choose quantity over quality. And the idea is to attain happiness in materialism. Instead of buying one good pair of shoes, you buy 10. The idea is that you're going to, you'll stay happy if you have to choose a different shoe every single day. Social media promotes materialism, whereas your happiness depends on the quantity that you achieve that day. Does that make sense? If you're getting more likes, what is it doing for you in the long run? But what does it do for the social media company? They know you're going to come back for more likes, more shares, more comments. Because that is a currency that is being sold to you and you want more of it. You want more. You want that feeling that you're being liked. People like your content. People are waiting for you. Your first reaction when you get a huge number of likes is, I want this again. So that is how social media uses its currencies. It promotes materialism, and it also, because most of us know that we are suffering from burnout these days, social media is basically pushing the narrative that you should improve yourself and you should excel in life, without actually having a system where they can take a look at your personality and choose what is best for you based on your personality. They tell you what's best for you. Big cars, big mansions. What if you can't achieve that? What if this is not what you're designed for? So in a society where we were behaving because there was a threat of being punished, and there was a threat that if we don't obey, we have to behave a certain way unless we obey. This was the disciplinary society, but in an achievement-based society, we are basically living with the feeling that we can do this, and your place in the social hierarchy is determined these days by your achievements and what you have done. Whereas previously it was how good of a person you were according to the governments of those times, according to the nations of those times. Right now, we are supposedly living in a liberated and sparkling society, supposedly. But the truth is, they're still controlling you without you knowing them, without you knowing about it. If you are on social media one day, how many of you feel you want to be social media the very next day? How many of you feel that you wish to be? Just raise your hands. How many of you, if you're on social media one day, you want to be on social media the next day? Like, how many of you want to use social media every day? And if you do not use social media, you feel empty? Every moment, right? So if a person that is using social media every day, honestly living in a liberated society, liberation is freedom. And if you're in this box where social media is controlling your life by giving you content that you're addicted to, well, you've just become an addict to content. Just like people were at one time when television was a thing. People were addicted to that, but only for a while, since there wasn't much content available. So the unlimited can problem is this. You're given the illusion that you have unlimited freedom and opportunity, which makes no sense. What if you are limited by your talents? And that is true. Most people in the world will not tell you this, which I'm going to tell you, and this is something that motivational speakers never say. I'm sorry, but most of us will not make it. We just live average lives and die. That's the truth. The unlimited can problem is whenever you're on social media, there's always somebody better than you in your face telling you that I've achieved this. And you feel like you're behind. And then the anxiety kicks in. Then you take a look at different products. The products that will help you get there. And the cycle begins. And what happens when you're anxious? When you want to be like them, you start spending money. Or you start spending time. How many of you believe time is important? Raise your hands. Okay. We can agree. Can we agree that time is a currency? Yeah. So if you spend time on social media trying to be like someone else, does that make sense? What if that person has a different journey, different characteristics, different attributes? What will happen? It is true, though, that the age of the internet has improved our life in general. We have got more business opportunities, more way to reach a wider audience. This is something that our ancestors could only dream of. That's the positive side of social media, that you can use it for business. You can use it to spread an idea. And if you are a charitable person, you can use it to help other people. And of course, if you're offering a solution, you can sell that solution and you can reach a wider audience. You can actually see who needs that solution and present it to them. You also don't waste other people's time. Like if you're running Google ads, let's say, then the thing is that people who are interested in your product will only see your ads. So you're not wasting other people's time, which is something that is actually good about social media and about ads in general. The problem with the unlimited can that I was speaking about was also keeping up with other people. So on social media, the thing is that people are kind of, whenever they achieve something, whenever your friends achieve something, they're going to post it on social media. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them. My friends don't, but I know people that do. And now you have just entered into a competition with your friend. And many people do this. They see somebody go to a restaurant, take pictures. You'll be at a restaurant taking pictures. So we are fighting our friends here now? Let's speak about the journey problem. Everybody's journey is different on social media. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, races, education. If somebody has 10 Ferraris, a big mansion, you don't know about their journey. Probably they had some opportunity that will never come your way. You'll never get that opportunity. Since they're not going to tell you the truth, you just compare yourself to these people that you see on social media that you know nothing about. And then you forget about your own journey. You take interest in the journey of another person. And when you're not interested in your journey anymore, you lose sight of the purpose that was probably meant for you or the one that you selected. Because somebody else is telling you that, hey, I achieved this, so can you. You also become a prisoner of another person's marketing. You become a prisoner of their ideas and their lifestyle. Lifestyle is a key word here. You want that lifestyle because they have that lifestyle. So essentially, social media sometimes makes us prisoners. It makes us prisoners. We wish to be like other people. We take interest in their journey, not ours. And we forget our purpose. And if you're interested in somebody else's journey, guess what they can do? They can make you behave a certain way because they're like, I did this, you should do this too. But I'll only tell this to you if you buy my $2,000 course. You'll get all of these Ferraris if you buy my $1,000 course. Now you're desperate. Electricity prices are up by 20%, which is actually, I've heard that is actually true. You're desperate. You need money. Nobody likes you. And and you see these people. Everybody likes them, although this is a story that Jordan Peterson once told, that there was, in his clinical practice, he saw people that were in the middle class and they were enjoying their lives, and then he also treated people that had Ferraris and mansions, and every single day they woke up, they wanted to sit in their Ferrari and ram that Ferrari right into a tree and die. They have their problems, you have your problems. And on social media, the problem is that we take a look at this glorious lifestyle that other people have, whereas we do not know what pain or what kind of troubles they might be going through, because nobody speaks about it. When was the last time you saw somebody on social media, except for a few, I'm not saying many do, some people do talk about their problems, but you've never seen on social media people saying, just live an average and peaceful life, man, take it easy, you'll die in 40, 50 years anyway, who gives a crap? Nobody says that. But it is true that most of us will not make it, unfortunately. Some make it even before they're born because their parents are rich. Like, that's true. However, the illusion of altruism is sold in social media. So altruism, the philosophy of being nice for the sake of being nice. Everybody sells this on social media, but they're not really altruistic if they're trying to sell a product to you. And they've designed their entire business model around getting information about you, looking at your behavior and selling the product to you, which you probably don't even require. If you have broken up with somebody, you search on Google how to get over a breakup, and suddenly you get these courses on Facebook and on others that I am a clinical psychologist. I can help you overcome. You know? And probably you don't even need it. Probably don't. But as soon as you put that information in, you're going to get those ads and those things, and how you're supposed to love a person, or maybe you're not doing this correctly, you're not doing that correctly, and that's the reason why you're not successful. In other words, basically, social media, another thing that it does is it sells misery, it sells pain, and it feeds on it. How does it do it? We all know that the two most extreme emotions that can upset the balance of another person are love and hate. People do stupid things when they love somebody, especially, and people do stupid things when they hate somebody. And social media, usually if you take a look at all of the YouTube videos and all of the things on social media, most of the likes that things are getting are relatable, but most of the things that are relatable are also dark and also aren't really very positive. If you take a look at memes, most of them are dark. If you take a look at videos, most of them are dark. Most of them are talking about stuff which would make you feel a little more miserable than you are already. And that is a problem. So what happens when you have a society which basically sees all of these people in the world doing better than them? You come up, well, not you didn't come up with, but the government comes up with the MAID, the MAID program, which is very popular in Canada. Guess what? Due to social media, people are lining up to die. That is our society these days. In Canada, there is a MAID program, which is basically medically assisted induced death, I believe, where people can actually sign up to die because they feel so miserable, driven by social media. And now the MAID program is being promoted. That, hey, you're depressed, let us kill you. That is true. That is actually a serious thing on social media, and it is being marketed as a business. Imagine that. Now there are people miserable, just broke up with somebody, probably are going to find more people in the world, nice people, and they choose to die. It's pretty easy. You go to a doctor. In Canada, they are actually promoting this because medicine is expensive there. Doctors are like, okay, so you're suffering this problem. How about, did you ever consider dying? Like literally they say that these days. Have you considered that? So in a society where you already feel miserable when you see people doing better than you, and that thing appearing on social media over and over again, you get one step closer to that thing which is called spiritual death. If not physical, then spiritual death. Your spirit dies first. And because of your will to live, like Arthur Schopenhauer spoke about the will to live, which is basically a problem that he believes, the will to live will kind of keep you going. It would try to keep you alive. In order to be alive, you also need to be happy. And how can you be happy every single day? You're in this prison where people are just telling you that, hey, we did this, hey, we did that. And you're far behind us. Hey, you should do this, you should do that. And I'm going to help you get there, but I need $5,000 from you. Oh, you broke up? Oh, no worries, just pay us $200. We're just going to fix you up straight away. Or how about this thing? Now we have access to your gallery. Now we know exactly the places that you visit. Hey, there's a deal. This man goes over there. How about we give him a deal? Although he has got extremely good food cooked at his home today, and his wife really cooked him great food. But yeah, 50% off. Let's go there, wife. But I cooked food. No. You let's go. You know, things like that. That is how social media systematically destroys your life. First of all, we're not trained. Number one, we're not trained for social media. Number two, we give our data away. Number three, social media is designed by people smarter than you to process the data that they receive from you. Number four, these social media companies have multiple products to sell to you. It can be an idea, it can be a currency, it can be a course, it can be advice, it can be information, it can be knowledge. Sometimes you do not need it. Number five, problems are created in your life which are not even problems. You believe they are problems, but they're not. If you're living a peaceful life, you are doing well, you're making life work, continue that path. Your journey is different. The people that have got 10 Ferraris, their journeys are different. Yours is different. Unfortunately, most of us will not make it to the top. It's impossible. Most of us will not. It doesn't matter. Take it easy. The people around you matter. The people that love you matter. And the people who will learn from you, they matter. The people that idolize you, they are the ones that matter. And since we're all human beings, our job is to make this world a less miserable place for the coming generations. And we cannot do it through social media because social media is run by corporations that see you as a number and see you as a product. When when the product is free, then you are the product. Remember that. And that's all I have to say. Let's make the world a better place and work for each other and reduce the misery that is already present. Thank you very much. Q&A session.
Thank you, Atish, for a nice talk. Okay, I want to ask that how we can control this destruction of social media and its negative effects on all of us. Whether we should just quit it, or there are other ways how we can control its bad effects on us or on society.
Okay, so what we have to do is we have to take a look at how many people value our advice. That's step number one. We gather everybody that we know will listen to us, and we train them for temperance. They should always be balanced. And this is what I speak about in my Stoicism talks as well. They should be balanced. They should not be in an excited state at any point in their life. It's a constant process. You have to train them so that they do not become excited. Even if something goes wrong, they should not be excited. Even if something turns out very well for them, they don't get excited. As long as they're balanced, they should be able to balance their usage of social media and not be influenced by it, because social media is looking at the time at which you're most vulnerable to present a solution to you that you do not really require. So the problem, another problem with social media is that it gives you content that will keep you on it for a long time, and it knows which content you like. Let's say, for example, you like cats. You're a cat owner. You're going to receive videos of cute cats, and you'll be on it, and you'll lose focus on your true purpose, which might be to, let's say, watch a Udemy course or something which is more meaningful, which will help you progress socially, which is pragmatism. If you consider yourself a pragmatic person, you'll always reject ideas which are going to stop you from progressing socially. So in other words, if a person is temperate, they will be able to think better, and they will be able to tell exactly what they require, at what time they require, and reject solutions that do not reject solutions that do not solve their problem truly.
Out of this emotions that is so natural with all of us.
Being temperate, you have to train being temperate. This is something that even martial artists, like in martial arts, they also teach you how to control your emotions and be temperate. There are various techniques. There are various philosophies. I practice Stoicism, and I am also a pessimist. But you have to basically train yourself to be balanced. It can take years sometimes.
Okay, you also talked about trained how to use social media.
Yeah.
So what are few points related to that?
So if you have a business, and if you think that a certain group of people require the solution, let's say you are somebody who helps startups, you can take a look at who's interested in starting a startup and just talk to them and find them on social media and communicate with them, and hopefully it will be like a beneficial transaction for both parties.
All right, thank you.
So thank you for a grateful evening. Actually, social media collect data from social platform different. Same ads रन करता है, आपके ये नहीं कि वही डेटा कलेक्ट करके इसको नीड किया है. लेकिन समटाइम अभी जो रिसेंटली शो ऑफ ये हो रहा है कि चैट जीपीटी के आने के बाद जो आप सोच रहे होते समटाइम थिंकिंग वही ऐड, यानी कि आपने डिस्कस भी किसी से नहीं किए, शेयर भी नहीं किए, लेकिन वही प्लेटफॉर्म पे वही डिफरेंट ऐड शो कर रहा था. तो इसकी क्या रीज़न है?
एक कंस्पिरेसी थ्योरी है इसके ऊपर. ये कंस्पिरेसी थ्योरी ही नहीं है, ये एक वो भी है. इट्स लाइक it was patented that somehow now this is a conspiracy theory. First of all, I'm going to talk about conspiracy theories, and then I'm going to talk about how I believe it works. So conspiracy theories, basically the conspiracy theory is that somehow these people can have access to our brains. I do not know how it works, but this is basically a patent There was a patent, and some ordinary gamers on YouTube covered this, that there is this patent about they can somehow extract information from you just by looking through your camera, or they can extract your brainwaves, something like that. That is a conspiracy theory. The truth is, scientifically, computers can process data. They can kind of guess what you're looking for. They can kind of guess that at this time, you're at this age, probably you would like these things. It's a very good guess. So for everything that you think about, you only see 3 or 4 ads. But what about the million other things you think about which you do not see ads about? So people, basically what happens is that you might be thinking about, let's say, 1,000 things at the same time. The reason why we note the ads that appear in front of us, and we're like, we were thinking about this, how did it come in front of us, is because it's kind of an anomaly, you can say. It's kind of like strange that I was thinking about this and it appeared. But what about the 997 things that you were thinking about which did not appear, you know? So it's that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks. It was a really good talk. I just wanted to add a couple more points here. I think a lot of people, we focus a lot on products, then people think it may be a car, it may be cosmetic or whatever it is. But it's not that innocuous in many cases also, because these are platforms and you can use all sorts of advertising. For example, you may have certain nonprofit or NGO promoting certain thing, and it may not be a legit NGO. So to distinguish between what's legit, what's not, is really difficult. And also in terms of the election cycle, which obviously has been a big issue in certain places, who promotes what kind of things. Politically it's used for trading. Like if you look into, because it's cumulative, right? They look through all your activity. You think, okay, I may just go on Google or wherever, Facebook, and search something. How bad could it be? Like at the end of the day, you just think, it's fine. I know they're tracking it, but how bad it could actually be? But because it's cumulative and it's quantitatively being tracked and so forth with outcomes and certain whatever the metrics are, right? So, I mean, you're promoted certain trading apps, you're promoted all sorts of things which previously were highly regulated in different jurisdictions, but you have no idea, and people are putting their money into not just bashing crypto or anything. I mean, they're legit crypto stuff too, but there's all sorts of other things as well. So basically, it's totally like a chaos, out there. So, I mean, to deal with it now, in terms of the other idea, I mean, I know Stoicism may be your philosophy, and that's good, but I'm not sure if you're going to convince everyone that the solution to this is for them to give up thinking about anything and just, focus on Stoicism. So that's my idea. Thank you.
Yes, I'll respond that I did not say that Stoicism is the solution. It's just one of them. Just one.
You talked about achievement society कि हम इस वक्त achievement society में हम achieve करना चाहते हैं. Humans तो हमेशा से achieve करना चाहते रहे. हम यहाँ पहुँचे इसलिए हैं कि हमारे ancestors ज़्यादा achieve करना चाहते थे. हम यहाँ तक आए हैं. अब हम सोशल मीडिया पे अपने आप को क्या करें? अचीवमेंट से रोक दें कि हम कुछ अचीव ही नहीं करना चाहते. जैसे आपने कहा कि ओके हम भी मर जाएंगे, तुम भी मर जाओगे, तो ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत क्या है? या हम अचीव करें तो अपने आप को कैसे लिमिट करें कि ओके दिस इज़ वेयर आई शुड बी, हाउ शुड आई नो कि मेरा टैलेंट यहाँ तक है, मुझे इससे आगे नहीं जाना है. सो थोड़ा सा इस पर अगर आप थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कर सकेंगे. थैंक यू.
Okay, so basically, I believe Seneca said this, that knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. So my answer would be that you have to spend a lot of time, अपने ऊपर काफ़ी ज़्यादा टाइम गुजारना है और अपनी अक्लमंदी के ऊपर, आपने अक्लमंद होने के ऊपर काम करना है. और अगर आप अपने आप को जानेंगे, ये शुरुआत है विजडम की. तो जब आप अपने आप को जानते हैं, आपको ये पता चल जाता है कि आप कहाँ हैं, और ऐसी कैलकुलेशंस यू कैन रन इन योर माइंड एंड योर ब्रेन टू टेल यू एग्जैक्टली व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, व्हेन you have to do it, and what are the steps required to, what realistically can you achieve. And I'll explain it to you that I'm not very successful, but I'm successful enough where I can say that I've achieved the top level that you can achieve on a freelancing platform. I basically achieved it as a consequence of wanting to, basically it was altruism, that I wanted to help the people that are contacting me, and I could feel their pain, and I could basically, I wanted to help them. As a consequence of that, I became like top level on that freelancing platform. But what I'd say is that your wisdom will tell you realistically what you can do and what you can't do, whereas other people are going to tell you, no, this is the best for you, even though they do not know what's the best in you. So that's my response to that.
So yeah, actually my point is, I would like to differ with your thesis or whatever you're saying, that we need to get ourselves trained. You know why? The social media actually, inherently, they are the copy of the society, right? We are trying to imitate the social settings on a platform or on the media, right? So as we live in the society, generally, we don't get training for a lot of things. We just learn from the others. It's the mass behavior we learn from others, right? So basically, the social media, when you are present on any platform, you try to learn from others' behavior. Now, it depends which society you live, what is your circle, So you try to copy their things. You said rightly a few points like, you see others and then you try to do things like, the competition with your friends and everything. That's okay. But the society, like, for instance, our society, is basically entertainment hungry society. People not have a lot of opportunity to have entertainment. So they go on the social media to have some sort of entertainment. Now, that can be, mocking others as well, but, you try to entertain yourself. So they don't need training for that, They have to see others, what they are doing, and they learn and they try to copy that. In that sense, my point is that you learn from others, so you have to train the whole society, because the social media basically is the imitation of the society. If the people are like that, if I am suppose doing something bad, I would try to copy myself on the social media same way. So in that sense, I think it is the mass behavior people learn from others, and they would continue to do that. And also most of the points are from the platform's perspective. You didn't touch much about the, user's perspective, as there are audience theories, they deal with what they try to do with the social media. Of course, the platforms are trying to gather the data and they are trying to sell us things. They are meant for that. It's a business, of course. They are not doing charity, right? But now, how the users are using it and what they should be doing with it, that's a kind of a big debate, I would say. But okay that you touched some of the points, but we can go into more details to understand what users are doing with the social media in a particular society. That's my point. Thank you.
Yes, I've got no response for that. Basically, what I can say is that you're correct. User behavior does matter. But what I can say from experience is that people, if they have the tendency to be evil, they're going to be more evil on social media than they are in real life. Because in real life, if you do certain things, you might get, it might actually end up in violence. Whereas on social media, you can get away with a lot of things. So as far as I can tell on social media, yeah, you can be anonymous as well. So people can basically get away with doing things which they otherwise wouldn't do in a normal social setting.
Sorry, just wanted to add that. So obviously, I wasn't criticizing Stoicism. That's perfectly fine. But just was saying that it wasn't a general solution, right, type of thing, probably. But then we don't have any solutions anyway. So I just wanted to point out also that it's a cultural thing as well, because in different places. So for example, here, there's the image issue and all that is there. But certain societies, it reflects how they speak about, for example, like last week there was here, the cricket match and all that kind of stuff. So that gets to all the media and everything, like people are commenting what someone is, like maybe someone took a shot of what a certain player was eating afterwards or whatever, that instead of playing, they were focusing on they're eating this, they're doing that. I mean, conducting normal stuff that a person would do over a course of 24 hours, right? But it just like reflects, and then people keep on going about it on and on and on and on, and that spreads. So it's also like societal, like it spreads to society as well and reflects how people. I mean, some of it is general to, for example, Pakistan or Asian societies, that people comment about other people and they're always focusing on their personal stuff, how they are presenting, what they're wearing, what they're looking like, whatever, and they're eating this and they're doing this and they're doing that, and that is reflected on social media and now in regular mainstream media as well after that. Thanks.
Again, a very great session. I will definitely recommend it to my classmates and definitely younger siblings. I just want to ask one question that as you say you are a game designer, and so you will have an opportunity to most of the time stay touch in real world. Underneath maybe things are very messed up, but you have to be mentally present to develop the apps and any project you are working on. So my question is, you talk about training. So you will not believe I tell you that we start training how to use social media, I and my friend, but his mentor were different and my mentor were different. So his mentor tell him to block me and my mentor tell me to block him. So as the brother also said earlier, that the majority is going in a flow, like they are just following with every day what is showing on screen. So when you put a filter on the training filter, like जैसे कि अगर हम एक चीज़ को अब सीख रहे हैं तो उसमें से हमको we will go toward isolation, क्योंकि उसमें काफ़ी लोगों से अनकट होना पड़ेगा. वो आपके क्लोज फ्रेंड्स भी हो सकते हैं, रिलेटिव्स भी, क्योंकि आप डिसएग्रीमेंट आ जाती है ना आपकी. सोशल मीडिया से मैं डिसएग्री करता हूँ इस मामले में. जैसे आपने ये तो कहा कि पॉजिटिव इसका एस्पेक्ट तो है कि जैसे एंसेस्टर्स ने इसलिए प्रोग्रेस किया क्योंकि अब अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ काफ़ी आ गई हैं, लेकिन आज का सेशन मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट पे था सोशल मीडिया के, किस तरह वो डिस्ट्रक्शन कर रही है. लेकिन इस डिस्ट्रक्शन से बचने के लिए मसला ये है कि जब हम ट्रेनिंग करें, फ़िल्टर लगाएं अपने अकाउंट्स में, मतलब कुछ लोगों को बात करें, किसी से ना करें, तो आइसोलेशन में आ जाते हैं, क्योंकि आप उनको जब ऑफलाइन नहीं मिलते तो फिर ऑनलाइन नहीं मिलते तो ऑफलाइन भी मिलना छोड़ देते हैं. इस तरह तो कुछ इस तरह विन विन सिचुएशन के ऐसी ट्रेनिंग का पाथ वे लिया जाए कि मतलब ये इसमें जो है किस डिस्ट्रक्शन से बचा जाए. मतलब समझ पाए जो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ? या
समझ पाया हूँ कि बेसिकली जो लोग हैं वो पर्सनल लाइफ सोशल मीडिया के अंदर जो है वो बेसिकली मिक्स कर देते हैं. यानी कि अगर कोई सोशल मीडिया पे प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी पर्सनल लाइफ में हो जाएगी, ये बात है. मैं ये कहूँगा कि कोशिश करें कि इसको कंपार्टमेंटलाइज करें. सोशल मीडिया शुड नॉट बी लाइक कनेक्टेड टू योर पर्सनल लाइफ एंड लाइक इट शुडंट बी. If somebody blocks, there are people who I had to block on social media, right? And they're still friends with me. वो बात नहीं है, मैंने उनको कहा था, लेकिन मैं कहा देखो मैंने कहने से पहले सोशल मीडिया पे ब्लॉक करूँ, कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें तुम करो मुझे नहीं अच्छी लगनी, लेकिन मैं कंपार्टमेंटलाइज करता हूँ कि हम फिर भी दोस्त रहेंगे. It is possible, but it depends on how the other person is. Like if the other person stops talking to you because you blocked them on social media, then they're the wrong person. That they're the wrong person. बात असल में ये है कि on social media, if you're doing things, let's suppose you have got friends that are poor and they're added to you on social media. Think about this thing, that if you are posting pictures of yourself on social media, what would they feel like, you know?
Should I? First of all, thank you for the fruitful insight. Basically, I'm, a bit respectfully, I disagree regarding the idea of prisoner, as you have mentioned in your session, the relationship between producer and consumer, So it seems to me like companies are identifying a consumer problem, and they are providing quality service as well. Like being an entrepreneur, when we are like trying to, provide services regarding the product or service either. It's so we are like researching things, and then we come up, with a quality product, quality service. So it seems to me like the idea is about identifying the consumer problem, and then with respect to his or her free will, they have choice, and later on they buy or our product or not. So in this context, how you respond the question of free will, because what we are like facilitating them, but they have choice. So how you can say like it's a prisoner? It seems to me like we are like more ridiculizing things.
First of all, I said in the positive things I said about social media. I said if you think that somebody has a problem, sell them that solution after identifying them. I already covered that. I said that what's negative is that sometimes people end up buying things which they do not require, as that demand is created for them because of the different tactics that some companies use. Not all of them use it. Not all of them use it. Some companies, like let's suppose that there is a person who's interested in starting a business. You can actually approach them, talk to them, and consult. But there are certain products which they probably might not require, and they end up buying them because they're feeling desperate.
Of all influences, right? And in our society, it's about shared values, and in this realm, like we are contributing to the shared consciousness by mankind. And in the era of mobile sociology, as we are living in the era of mobile sociology. So in this context, like it's again the same and relevant, because if like in physical realm, physically like we are interacting with each other, so we are discussing either ideas, or either like business ideas, or like buying and selling, kind of things. So again, isn't it relevant in this context?
Do you believe that some people manipulate other people do you think that there are certain people that manipulate other people into buying products?
Like politically, yes.
I was talking about those.
But again, like there is consumer choice, and
a person that is being manipulated, it doesn't really know that they're being manipulated most of the time. I mean, you see that sometimes people are manipulated into committing murder.
But most marketing is manipulation. It's the extent,
right? You have mostly talked about commercial aspects, how social media is being exploited by the consumer product sellers, or as sort of a business kind of a perspective. But you haven't talked anything about the political misuse of social media, disinformation, spreading of hatred through misinformation, like disinformation, like posting pictures which are not even real. They are photoshopped, and spreading a lot of hatred. People, like you said, people need training. People are not trained to segregate the reality from lies, from the truth from the lies. They would believe anything which they see. A lot of concocted material is on the social media, and if I believe that in particular in our society, not in the developed country, maybe in the first world it's mostly commercial exploitation, but in our society there is a lot of political exploitation. Like they make people's minds, they inject ideas in their minds, and they make them believe what they want to.
Yeah, I did say that one of the currencies, or one of the products that are sold is idea. I did say that, driving a narrative and They're basically it's not necessarily a product. It's sometimes an idea. Sometimes it's motivation.
Yeah, yes, you did mention, but I thought that it needed a little bit more elaboration. Like your emphasis was more on the business
Yes.
aspect, not the political, because a lot of hatred. I mean, practically,
Hate sells.
world societies are polarized. World is being polarized by creating such a hatred among the group of people, among the believers of various faiths and all that, followers of various political ideas. A lot of this hatred is being generated on the social media.
Yes.
That's I think that's a very big problem. It needed a little bit more focus from you.
The reason why they cover it because of the psychology part of hate and love. So since this is like we could have gone into a lot of detail, then I could not tell how it systematically is destroying people's lives. The thing is that yes, it is true, an idea once sold can create divisions. That is true. But I was more on how they basically systematically destroy your life, how they do it, and I had to talk about the technical aspect of what they do and how they will be able to use that information and to see how you behave and then sell that idea to you. Basically, if people can understand that if their behavior is being monitored and then an idea can be sold well. And I also stated that people drop the idea when they know that it's not going to sell well. This includes, of course, political ideas and ideologies and stuff. So it includes that. Yes, I did not cover it in a lot of detail, but I generally wanted people to know how they can be potentially be used by social media companies in various ways, systematically. So that was the thing. And I apologize for not covering this. I think I should have, but yeah.
I feel like you talked about the whole selling products and stuff really well and manipulating emotions and all that. I want to know a bit more about Stoicism, because you say you've practiced it yourself, right? And you talked about how it's basically about practicing to numb excitement, right? Does that also include like numbing other emotions or just certain like excitement?
Stoicism is not about numbing emotions. It's about the four stoic virtues, which is wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. These are the four stoic virtues, and it does not say that a person is emotionless. It does not tell a person to be emotionless. It's just that Stoicism is about controlling your mind and every situation that occurs in your life is an opportunity to respond. That's what it basically is. I've already spoken about this in other lectures, and you can watch it on the official Black Hole channel on YouTube. But it's not about killing emotions. Not like that. That's Buddhism. People confuse it with that. Buddhism is that.
So like So you would say that empathy and like sympathy and empathy and all that, you still would feel that, and you're still human, and you have emotions and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
People think that Stoicism makes a person a robot. That's not true. That's Buddhism.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've also confused it myself.
Yeah,
Because
that's
especially
Buddhism.
on social media, they do confuse it a lot.
That's Buddhism.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just a question, because I have not attended the previous talks about Stoicism, but saying there's a psychology link bhi hai, kyunke like personality different hoti hai, so some people are able to practice Buddhism or Stoicism or different aspects of it depending on unki passive personality hai ya kis tarah ki hai, ya okay, you can call it control over mind, whatever, but lekin everyone is not the same. Some people are impulsive, koi sociable zyada hote hain, koi isolationist hote hain, and all that. So just a question, I don't know if you want to answer it right now, but do you think Stoicism is widely applicable, or is just that your perspective and you just wanted to share that? Thanks.
Stoicism is basically is basically the art of knowing how to balance oneself. Taoism is also, I believe that Taoism is actually more applicable to the entire world, not Stoicism. Stoicism is something I practice. Taoism is actually the philosophy that I believe can be applied. Like most people can practice Taoism, but not Stoicism.
Thank you. I want to ask, like you said that we need to train for social media in order to use it for for our benefits and for to know how we use it and how can we avoid getting our data to those companies in a very open way. But the thing is that nowadays the children, even they're on social media and their lives are being controlled by social media. Our generation, we came on social media pretty late when it got popular in I guess 2016, 2014. It started in 2010,
Yeah,
but like our generation, we got on social media pretty late, like 2014, 2015. But nowadays, even the small children, they're like 5 or 6 years old, they're on social media and their lives are being controlled by social media. So how can you advise parents to like train their children and their supervise their activities, because when
supervise their activities,
because like
supervise their activities, that is the answer.
But the thing is that even when parents supervise them, the children are concerned about their privacy. I don't know if they have any privacy or not, but they're like, don't look into our phones, don't look into our social media accounts. They're concerned about their own privacy, and even if they don't have any such thing. So how can parents even train their children when they're not even letting them to?
Well, first of all, that parents should have a deal. They should be like, I'm going to supervise. What I believe is it should be a reward-based kind of a thing. That I'm going to teach you how you're supposed to use social media, what I believe is best for you. I'm going to sit with you and we are going to do things on social media for an hour. And then you can use it for 2 hours on your own. And I just want to make sure that you don't end up getting yourself harmed. But after you're 18 or whatever age you think you should be independent, then basically at that time you can do whatever you want. But as long as you're under my control, I cannot allow you to harm yourself. That's not possible. So they should take a stand. And I believe that this is necessary, because discipline, you have to discipline children. Otherwise they become a problem not for themselves, they become a problem for other people that are around them. And that's basically the problem. That you have to, because then they'll make the world a more miserable place. They'll make it bad for other people that are around. So
ज़हन में भी ख्यालात अभी आपकी गुफ्तगू सुनकर आए और इतनी अच्छी डिस्कशन से, करीबन हर प्रोडक्ट का कोई ना कोई मैनुअल होता है कि कैसे उसको यूज़ करना है. कई प्रोडक्ट्स ऐसी हैं जिनके बारे में लिखा होता है ये इस एज ग्रुप के लिए, इसके लिए. इंटरनेट इन जनरल और सोशल मीडिया इन पर्टिकुलर, इसका कोई मैनुअल नहीं है. इट इज़ ओपन फॉर ऑल एज ग्रुप्स.
ease of access.
Yes, ease of access. हर तरह की वल्नरेबिलिटी है. जो बड़ी एज के अफराद हैं वो जब यूज़ करते हैं, और अमूमन ऐसा होता है कि वो एक जनरेशन गैप आया हुआ होता है, वो तन्हाई का शिकार होते हैं, तो उनको एक अच्छा मौका मिल जाता है कि चलें वो दुनिया के साथ कनेक्ट है, वो आइसोलेटेड फील नहीं कर रहे, मगर वो भी वल्नरेबल होते हैं. जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन उनको नज़र आती है, नो मैटर कितनी वो गलत है, वो उसको दुरुस्त समझते हैं, क्योंकि उनके लिए वो नया मीडियम है. एवरीथिंग दैट कम्स ऑन व्हाट्सएप और ऑन फेसबुक इज़ सपोज टू बी करेक्ट फॉर उनके वर्ल्ड व्यू में. अच्छा, लाइकवाइज दूसरा पहलू जो मेरे जहन में आता है वो ये कि जब आपकी डिपेंडेंसी किसी चीज़ पे बढ़ती जाती है तो फिर आप ज़ाहिर है उसके, जिस तरह आपने प्रिजनर कहा, वो होता गया. अगर हमारे समाज में ख़ास तौर पे आज़ादी इजहार होती, इख्तलाफ राय की, उसको भी कबूल किया जा रहा होता, तो फिर हमें ऑनलाइन जाकर ना अपनी चीज़ों का अपना इजहार ख्याल ना करना पड़ता. एक पहलू. दूसरा ये कि दाईं जानिब जो मेरे तशरीफ़ फरमाया, उन्होंने भी पॉलिटिकल हवाले से गुफ्तगू की. आप देख रहे हैं कि हमारे यहाँ जो पॉलिटिकल कैंपेन्स हैं वो वही सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू हो रही हैं. انفرادی سطح پہ بھی سوشل وہ پیجز بنے ہوئے ہیں جن کو پوری پوری ٹیمز چلا رہی ہیں, وہ سوشل میڈیا انفلوئنسرز بن چکے ہیں. ایگزیکٹلی. اور جو سیاسی جماعتیں ہیں وہ تو ظاہر ہے پورا ڈپینڈ نہیں اس کے اوپر کر رہی ہیں. میں نام نہیں لیتا ہوں, لیکن ہمارے ہاں ریسنٹ ایئرز میں ایک سیاسی جماعت اس معاملے میں اس نے سب کے نمبر کھٹے ہیں. لیکن دیکھیں جب وہ یہاں, اور اس کے اندر بھی آپ دیکھ لیں کہ پابندیاں بھی لگ رہی ہیں, ہمارا نیٹ اچانک بند ہو جاتا ہے یا ٹویٹر بین ہو جاتا ہے. تو یہ جو ڈپینڈنسی بڑھ رہی ہے اس کو اگر دور کرنا ہے یا اس سسٹمک ہارم کو کم کرنا ہے تو اس کے لیے ضروری ہوگا کہ دوسرے جو دروازے ہیں وہ کھولے جائیں, تاکہ آپ ایک ہی دروازے کی طرف نہ جائیں. اپنی گھٹن سے نکلنے کے لیے آپ صرف سوشل میڈیا کی طرف نہ دیکھیں, بلکہ یہاں پہ ہمارے سماج میں اور گھٹن دور کرنے کے لیے بھی کھڑکیاں دروازے کھلے ہوئے ہوں. بس میں یہ
ایکچولی نا بات یہ ہے نا کہ آپ جو دروازوں کی بات کریں ہونے چاہیے, لیکن وہ ہارڈ موڈ ہے, میڈیم موڈ ہے. سوشل میڈیا ایزی ہے کہ آپ بیڈ کے اندر ہیں تو آپ پھر بھی لوگوں سے انٹریکٹ کریں, میسیجز کریں, آپ کو میسیجز کے رپلائی آ رہے ہیں, کامنٹس آ رہی ہیں, شیئرز ہو رہے ہیں, تو یو آر گیٹنگ دیٹ سیٹسفیکشن دیٹ یو آر امپورٹنٹ. اور جہاں تک یہ بات سچ ہے کہ مجھے ایکچولی کیونکہ یہ تھا سسٹمیٹک ہارم آف سوشل میڈیا, ٹھیک ہے, میں نے یہ بیسکلی یہ کور کرنا تھا کہ جو یہ کوئی بھی کوآپریشن, کوئی بھی آرگنائزیشن جو ہے وہ آپ کی ڈیٹا یوز آپ کے اگینسٹ کیسے کرتی ہے. اگر انسان اس چیز کو سمجھے تو وہ سمجھ جائے گا کہ کیسے ہوتا ہے. اور میں نہیں کہہ رہا کہ ایوری تھنگ آن سوشل میڈیا از بیڈ, نیور سیڈ دیٹ. اف یو آر سیلنگ اے سولوشن لائک بلیک ہول از آن سوشل میڈیا, رائٹ, دے آر ناٹ ہارمنگ اینی بڈی, لائک all of them are informative, but if you are directly targeting people, let's suppose, who have been through a horrible situation in their life, and you are selling them a solution which is probably what they do not require, which is something that is designed for mass markets, not the tailored product. How are you so sure that you're helping them, you know? تو یہ بات سچ ہے کہ یوزرس کو بھی آف کورس دھیان رکھنا چاہیے, بٹ اگر یوزر مینیپولیٹڈ ہے, ویسے وہ مزریبل ہے, اس کو کیا پتا ہوگا کہ وہ جو چیز کر رہا ہے وہ صحیح ہے غلط ہے.
میں جی ضرور, میں ایک بات کر کے میں آفاق کے جو انہوں نے پوائنٹ ریز کیا اس کو تھوڑا سا اور الیبوریٹ کروں گا کہ ان کا مطلب یہ ہے کہ یہاں پر ویسے بھی تفریح, ایک اور ہمارے دوست نے بھی اس پہ پوائنٹ آؤٹ کیا کہ یہ ایک ریکریشن اسٹافڈ سوسائٹی ہے, اور یہاں پر ظاہر سی بات ہے نہ پلے گراؤنڈز ہیں, نہ ینگسٹرس کے کلبز ہیں, نہ اس طرح کی چیزیں ہیں کہ دوسری ریکریشن کے سورسز نہیں ہیں. تو ظاہر سی بات ہے میں نے اور آپ نے بھی دیکھا ہوگا فرسٹ ورلڈ میں لوگ ہیں ایڈکٹ اس کے, لیکن اس حد تک نہیں ہے جتنے یہاں پر ہو گئے ہیں. ایک یہ بات. دوسری ایک تو یہ میں اس پوائنٹ کو وہ کر رہا تھا, اور دوسری بات میں آپ کی بات سمجھ گیا ہوں کہ آپ یہ بتا رہے تھے کہ ان کا موڈس اپرینڈی کیا ہوتا ہے, اس کے بعد وہ جیسے چاہے پولیٹیکلی چاہے کمرشلی آپ کو جو ہے وہ کر سکتے ہیں, مینیپولیٹ کر سکتے ہیں. تو آپ کا یہاں پہ جو فوکس تھا وہ ان کا جو وے آف
بیسکلی ان کا جو میتھڈ ہے آف بیسکلی میکنگ یو ڈو تھنگس. دا فیکٹ از کہ probably I wasn't very clear about it. I think I repeated it multiple times کہ idea and motivation are one of the products that are being sold. I repeated this thrice actually. I repeated this thrice کہ آئیڈیا اور موٹیویشن سیل کی جاتی ہے, آئیڈیالوجی سیل کی جاتی ہے. ہاں یہ بیسکلی میں نہیں کہا تھا, لیکن دا فیکٹ از کہ وین یو آر اسپیکنگ رائٹ, تو اس کے اندر یہ ہوتا ہے کہ آپ ایک اس کے ساتھ اسٹرکچر کے ساتھ آتے ہیں. اور میں کیونکہ آئی ٹی کے اندر ہوں تو میں نے آئی ٹی کے حوالے سے زیادہ بات کیا تھا, کیونکہ اگر کوئی مجھے ایسا سوال پوچھے جو کہ فرض کریں کہ سائیکالوجی سے ریلیٹڈ ہے, وہ میں نہیں آنسر کر سکوں گا. مجھے کوئی ہیٹ کی ہاؤ ہیٹ ورکس وہ مجھ سے کوئی سوال پوچھے, شاید میں کلینکل سائیکالوجسٹ کی طرح نہیں جواب دے سکوں گا. تو آئی ٹی کے اندر ہوں میں, تو اس کی وجہ سے میں یہ بتا سکتا ہوں کہ کمپنیز کیا کرتی ہیں فرام مائی ایکسپیرینس. جو بندہ جس چیز کا ایکسپرٹ ہوتا ہے اس کی بارے میں بات کر سکتا ہے. تو آئیڈیا کا جب میں نے کیا دیا, آئیڈیالوجی کا کیا دیا, موٹیویشن کا کیا دیا, میں انفیکٹ یہ آپ کی مزری پہ پرے کرتے ہیں, آپ کی ولنریبلٹیز پہ پرے کرتے ہیں, اس کے بعد آپ کو پروڈکٹ سیل کرتے ہیں. پروڈکٹ آئیڈیا بھی ہو سکتا ہے نا. تو یہ تو میں نے بات کہہ دی تھی 3 دفعہ, آئی تھنک میں نے اس ٹاک میں یہ بات کی ہے کہ اور کرنسیز بھی ڈفرینٹ ہوتی ہیں. کرنسی صرف پیسے نہیں ہے نا, لائکس, کامنٹ, شیئرز, آپ کی جو دوسرے جو پروڈکٹس ہیں, موٹیویشن, آئیڈیاز. تو یہ بات ہے, اس کی یوزفل بھی چیزیں ہوتی ہیں کہ آئیڈیا اچھا, یعنی کہ اگر آپ کے پاس کوئی فلاسفی کا چینل ہے, پرابیبلی وہ آپ کی آلٹروسٹک جو آپ کا حصہ ہے آپ کی پرسنالٹی کا, وہ دوسرے لوگوں سے مدد کر رہے ہیں.
جی تھینک یو ویری مچ. میرے خیال میں آپ کا جو ٹاپک تھا وہ بڑا انٹرسٹنگ تھا اتفاق سے, کیونکہ ہم جو بڑا ڈبیٹ ہماری سوسائٹی میں وہ اصل میں نگیٹو اور پازیٹیو کانسیکوینسز آف یوزنگ سوشل میڈیا ہے. تو آج جو کوشچنس زیادہ آ رہے تھے وہ اس پہ آ رہے تھے. حالانکہ آپ کی ٹاک جو ہے وہ ابھی جو آخر میں ہم نے سرکل بیک کیا ہے اس کو بڑا اچھی طریقے سے کہ جی اصل میں آپ بات کرنا چاہ رہے تھے کہ جنہوں نے جو اس کے پیچھے بڑی بڑی کمپنیز ہیں جو کہ بلین اور بلینئرز ہو گئے ہیں, آرگنائزیشنس ہیں بائی دا وے, وہ کیسے مینیپولیٹ کرتی ہیں. میں آئی ووڈ ریئلی لائک کہ آئندہ کسی ٹاک میں ہم اس پہ پھر آپ سے ایگزامپلس بھی سنیں اور وہ زیادہ انٹرسٹنگ ہوں گے لوگوں کے لیے کہ کون سی کمپنیز کس طرح سے مینیپولیٹ. اس پہ کتابیں لکھی گئی ہیں, آبویسلی دیر آر آلسو موویز ڈیولپڈ آن دوز, لیکن پیپل ٹو ایجوکیٹ پیپل ہم یہ اچھا ہوگا کہ ہم اس کو ایگزامپلس کے تھرو, تاکہ لوگ ذرا فوکسڈ ہوں کہ یہ بات ہو کس پہ رہی ہے. لوگوں نے شاید اس کو کچھ اس طرح سے کیا کہ یہ شاید جو سوشل میڈیا کا ہم یوز کرتے ہیں نارملی اس پہ ہم بات کر رہے ہیں, لیکن اصل میں اس اے بگر پکچر اینڈ بگر گیم.
ایکچولی نا دیکھیں اس کا ہے سسٹمیٹک ہارم آف سوشل میڈیا. اس کے اندر یہ نہیں تھا کہ میں ہیٹ یا اس کی بات کروں, یہ
بالکل
جی بالکل یہ سسٹمیٹکلی آپ کو کیسے ڈسٹروائے کرتے ہیں, ڈسمینٹل کیسے کرتے ہیں, اس کے اوپر تھی نا بات. تو بات اصل میں یہ کہ یہ ڈیلیبریٹ تھا کیونکہ اس کے اندر مجھے پتہ ہے, بیکاز آئی نو میں کلائنٹس کے ساتھ کام کرتا ہوں تو مجھے پتہ ہے ان کی سائیکالوجی کیا ہوتی ہے. بیسکلی اگر اف آئی وڈ سے کہ بھائی کہ لو یا ہیٹ یا آئیڈیاز سیل کر رہے ہیں, یس, لیکن بات یہ کہ آپ کو یہ نہیں پتا ہو کہ سیل کرتے کیسے ہیں, یعنی کہ ہاؤ ڈو دے ڈو اٹ, اف دے گیدر انفارمیشن ہاؤ ڈو دے یوز اٹ, یا تو اس کو پروسیس کیسے کرتے ہیں. بیسکلی وہ پروسیس اس طریقے سے کرتے ہیں اپنے بیہیویئر کو دیکھ رہے ہوتے ہیں. اگر آپ کسی پولیٹیکل گروپ سے افیلیٹڈ ہیں فرض کریں تو آپ کو اس کے زیادہ ایڈز آئیں گے, آئیڈیاز اس کے آپ سے پچ کیے جائیں گے, لوگ جو کہ اس گروپ سے ہیں وہ آپ کے پاس آئیں گے. تو اس طریقے سے سسٹمیٹکلی وہ آپ کی جو لائف ہے اس کو کنٹرول کرتا ہے اور ڈسٹروائے کرتا ہے. کیونکہ کبھی کبھار ایسا ہوتا ہے کہ شاید آپ اتنا ڈیپ اس کے اندر جانا ہی نہیں چاہتے تھے, لیکن اگر آپ کو اپرچونیٹی ملے تو وہ پھر آپ اس کے اندر بالکل ہی ڈوب جاتے ہیں. تو بس یہ بات ہے, وہ بات آپ کی صحیح ہے کہ مجھے شاید یہ اس کے اوپر زیادہ بات کرنی چاہیے تھی, لیکن بات یہ کہ آئی ایم ناٹ این ایکسپرٹ in the system or how hate works and how love works. That is not something I'm an expert in. Because hate and love are sold, they can sometimes be sold as products as well, but I'm not an expert in that though.
ایک نقطہ میرے ذہن میں آیا ہے, وہ آپ کی بات کو افہامی کرے گا. وہ یہ کہ دیکھیں کچھ لوگ سوشل میڈیا کے کچھ لوگ فیس بک سے ایڈکٹیڈ ہیں یا اس کے ساتھ جڑے ہوئے ہیں, کچھ ٹویٹر پہ ہیں, کچھ انسٹاگرام میں ہیں, کچھ یہاں ہیں وہاں ہیں. اور اب ہم دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ جو ہمارے 3 بڑے بنیادی جو پلیٹ فارمز ہیں, اف آئی ایم ناٹ رانگ, اچھا فیس بک, انسٹاگرام اور واٹس ایپ, یہ تینوں غالباً ایک ہی کمپنی کے پاس ہیں.
Yes, that's true.
اب آپ یہاں سے دوسرے کی طرف شفٹ ہوں یا آپ ایک کے بعد دوسرے میں جائیں تو یو وونٹ فائنڈ اینی ڈفرنس, کیونکہ پیچھے تو مائنڈ ایک ہی ہے,
انٹرنیٹ.
یس, اور دوسرا یہ کہ پیچھے کمرشل انٹرسٹ بھی سیم ہی ہے. تو آپ کو کوئی چینج نظر نہیں آئے گی, بلکہ آپ ایک کے بعد دوسری کھائی میں گرتے چلے جائیں.
prisoner of their content. Content کا prisoner چاہیے.
یہ آپ کی بات کو مزید افہام کرتا ہے کہ آپ ایک سے نکل کے دوسرے میں جا رہے, بٹ سسٹم بیہائنڈ
وہ انفارمیشن گیدرنگ ہے نا. دیکھیں آپ مجھے خود ہی بتائیں کہ بیسکلی جو پولیٹیکل آئیڈیا وہ سیل کس کو کریں گے, وہ کیسے ان کو پتہ چلے گا جب تک کہ ان کو یہ نہیں پتہ ہوگا اس کا بیہیویئر کیا ہے, اس کے پیٹرنس کیا ہیں, وہ آپریٹ کیسے کرتا ہے.
شوڈنٹ اٹ ہمیں یہ سوچنا چاہیے کہ ہمارے ہاں سوشل میڈیا ان 3 4 5 پلرس کے گرد نہ گھومے, بلکہ یہاں مزید پلیٹ فارمز ہونے چاہیے. ہے تو انٹرنیٹ ہی ہے نا, لیکن زیادہ سے زیادہ ہوں تاکہ ڈیموکریٹائزیشن بھی ہو اور ایک منوپلائزڈ نہ ہو جائے اور اس طریقے سے مینیپولیشن نہ ہو. کچھ اس طریقے کا ہو تو ہی بہتر ہوگا, کیونکہ یوز تو کرنا ہی کرنا ہے نا.
اس کا اس میں یوزیج یہ ہے نا کہ دیکھیں یوزیج یہ ہوتا ہے کہ آپ جو ہیں وہ اگر آپ لائکس یا شیئرس بھی کریں, ایسی چیزیں کریں, تو آپ کو پتہ ہو کہ یہ اگر انفارمیشن کو ملی ہے تو یہ کہاں یوز کر سکتے ہیں, کیسے یوز کر سکتے ہیں. اور جیسے ہی آپ کے پاس کوئی ایسی چیز ہے تو آپ کو امیڈیٹلی پتہ چل جائے کہ یہ جو ہے یہ کیوں اس طرح یہ میرے پاس کیوں آ رہے ہیں, ایڈس کیوں آ رہے ہیں, یا یہ آئیڈیاز میرے پاس کیوں آ رہے ہیں, یا یہ گروپس مجھے کیوں سجیسٹ ایسی کی جا رہی ہیں. تو یہ بات ہے بیسکلی کہ انسان کو دھیان رکھنا چاہیے چیزوں پہ.
سنس وی آر گوئنگ ٹو کلوز, ایک آن لائن کوشچن ہے, محمد الیاس ہیں, میرے سامنے اسکرین نہیں ہے, مگر وہ کہہ رہے ہیں کہ کوئی اسٹریٹجی بتائیں کہ ہم یوز تو کریں سوشل میڈیا لیکن ہم اس کے نقصان سے کچھ بچ سکیں. تو یہ تو میرا خیال ہے بیہیویئرل تبدیلی ہوگی.
بیسکلی وہ یہ ہے کہ آپ جب سوشل میڈیا یوز کرتے ہیں آپ کو بس یہ چیزیں بی اویئر دیٹ دے آر گیدرنگ انفارمیشن اباؤٹ یو، دے کین یوز اٹ ایٹ اینی ٹائم اگینسٹ یو. اور اگر آپ کسی خاص آئیڈیا کو فالو کریں تو اس آئیڈیا کے بارے میں آپ کو زیادہ چیزیں دی جائیں گی، یعنی کہ زیادہ اس ریلیونٹ. اینڈ سم آف دا تھنگز دیٹ آر بینگ پریزنٹڈ ٹو یو ڈو ناٹ نیڈ ٹو کنزیوم دم. دے آر سم ٹائمز گوئنگ ٹو ویسٹ یور ٹائم. اینڈ ادر تھنگ اباؤٹ سوشل میڈیا از لائک یو سیڈ اٹس آلسو انٹرٹینمنٹ، رائٹ؟ ویل yes, it is entertainment. It's designed to entertain you, to keep you on it for a longer time, so it can eventually systematically, hopefully, help you, but it can also systematically destroy you, because the longer you spend at a location, the more they know about you. They're observing you, observing each and everything that you do, and that's the thing.
چلے
جسٹ یہ کہ آف کورس وہ یہ مینیپولیشن یہ سب کچھ ہے، کافی ڈیفیکلٹ ہے. ان کی جو ٹرمز اینڈ کنڈیشنس ہوتی ہیں ان کو اگر آپ پوری طرح فالو کریں، فیس بک کی گول کی جو بھی ہے. لیکن یہ آئی مین جسٹ فار دا ریکارڈ آئی گیس یہ کمپنیز دے ڈو اسٹیٹ دیٹ وہ جو ہیں دے آر جسٹ اے پلیٹ فارم، کہ وہ خود کچھ نہیں کرتے، دے آر جسٹ اے پلیٹ فارم جو دوسرے یوز کرتے ہیں اور وہ ان کو ایڈ اسپیس بیچتے ہیں، وٹ ایور دے سیل دم. سو ان کی اپنی اب اس میں کتنی اسکروٹنی ہونی چاہیے، کتنی اسکروٹنی نہیں ہونی چاہیے، آل دیٹ از اے ڈفرنٹ ڈسکشن. بٹ یہ نہیں آن ریکارڈ ان کا یہی اسٹینس ہوتا ہے کہ دس از اے پلیٹ فارم، اٹس جسٹ این انیبلنگ پلیٹ فارم. وی ٹیک نو اسٹینس، وی ڈو نو مینیپولیشن، وی ڈو نتھنگ، وی جسٹ ہم صرف ایک پلیٹ فارم ہے جہاں پہ دوسرے آ کے اپنا اسپیس جو ہے وہ بائی کرتے ہیں.
Actually, they will never say that they facilitate. No company will ever say that.
It's time to call it a day. بہت شکریہ. اٹ واز اے ویری گڈ ڈسکشن. سب لوگ بیچ میں انوالوڈ ہوئے، ہر ایک اپنا ایکسپیرئنس ہے اور اہم نقطے اٹھائے گئے. آئی ہوپ کہ اس کے اوپر ہم لوگ غور کریں اور کم سے کم اپنے جو بیہیورل چینجز ہیں ان کی طرف ہم راغب ہوں اور ایڈکشن سے بھی بچیں اور ذہن کھول کر چیزوں کو استعمال کریں. اور یہ صرف سوشل میڈیا کے لیے نہیں ہے، کریٹیکل ریزننگ جو ہے وہ زندگی کے ہر پہلو میں میرا خیال ضروری ہے. اپنی ویل بینگ کو مد نظر رکھنا چاہیے. چلیں، تھینک یو آتش.